What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Backup Fantasy Sports. It is Monday, July 31st. My name is Ewan, and on today's episode, we are going to get into some Fantasy Premier League with the Goalkeeper Power Rankings. I'm going to be doing this 4-video series with a power ranking of each position, top 10 goalies, top 15 defenders, midfielders, and then another top 10 forwards. So 4 videos coming at you. Today is going to be the Goalkeepers video, but why wait? Let's just get right into it here with 6 through 10. So I'm not going to go all the way through each top 10 list. I want to try and keep these videos nice and short. The 3 things I put into these rankings are fairly short and sweet. It's going to be last season's points, where they rank right now in terms of ownership in the Fantasy Premier League game, and the Fantasy Football Scouts predicted points for the first 6 game weeks. So shout out to them for providing that resource. Not a lot of fancy statistics. There are more in-depth ways to go about this, but I just wanted to kind of, with so much content going around these days, including this, I just wanted to kind of simplify the whole strategy and see if I could narrow down my player pool to something suitable with less than 2 weeks to go until the August 11th deadline, where Man City play Burnley on the road. So there's a lot of decisions to make between now and then. There's a lot of preseason games. There's been a lot of preseason games. Lots of content to consume. You can get it here on the Backup Fantasy Sports channel. Like, subscribe to the channel. Super appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at YouInOrYouOut. You can follow all my written work on rotoballer.com as well. That's where I do all of my written FPL content. Throughout the season, we're going to have a ton of articles, once a month watch list, weekly roundtable, weekly rankings. So make sure to check out rotoballer.com. It's going to be free all year long. But let's get into the meat of today's video, the goalkeeper power rankings. And here is 6 through 10. We've got Pickford, Raya, Martinez, Leno, and Kepa. I haven't seen a ton of drafts with a lot of these guys in here. Pickford was very popular right at the get-go. There was some hype about Leno. Chelsea, team in transition. David Raya, sounds like as of today, there are new rumors coming around that Arsenal might be in on David Raya. So something to watch there if you are Aaron Ramsdale manager at the moment. More on him a little bit later. But yes, right here you can see Raya was the top point scorer in all of Fantasy Premier League last year at the goalkeeper position with 166 points. He's still in 10% of teams. Not sure if that's an auto pick thing or if people are still kind of getting to terms with the news that he may not be the first choice guy at Brentford this year. Although Flecken has looked shaky in the preseason. Pickford there with Everton. I'm not a huge fan of that decision myself. Glad to see he's outside the top 5. Martinez for Aston Villa. Sure, but I'm not sold on that either. Leno at Fulham, he had a bunch of great games on the stretch last year. I think there were, like, in the last 10 games, I think he had 2 or 3 10-point games with clean sheets. Great performances from him, but Fulham have some tough fixtures to begin the year. And Kepa with Chelsea, I think there's a lot of optimism going around about Chelsea so far this preseason. And it may be a case where we don't really want to use one of those valuable spots on a goalkeeper. So let's see how that turns out. But as you can see here, predicted points over there, Kepa has the most among this list with 24.2. And Fantasy Football Scout is taking into consideration that Raya is not first choice right now for Brentford, or that's what we're all assuming, with a 12.9 predicted points over the first 6 game weeks. But let's get into the top 5, starting with Ederson, the man after our hearts. Double game week heartbreak last year for many of his managers. He comes in at number 5, 121 points last year. He's in 13.6% of teams right now, and he is actually projected to score the most points over the first 6 game weeks in the Fantasy Premier League game this season, with 25. As you can see, the fixture here, for good reason, he has the most predicted points. Burnley on the road, Newcastle at home, Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham, and Nottingham Forest. A ton of green on the fixture difficulty rating from the official Premier League website there. Man City, Burnley should be in the bag. Sheffield United should be in the bag. Nottingham Forest in the bag. So that's 3 clean sheets that we should be thinking about with Ederson to begin the year. But at 5.5, a lot of bad taste in our mouth from last season. And I believe he was also had a kind run of fixtures at the beginning of last year. I think the first 8, a lot of people were saying, 5, 6 clean sheets in the bag there for the Man City man. And obviously it did not turn out that way, as 121 points is disappointing. So yeah, he comes in at number 5 on the power rankings for the goalkeeper position. He trails Nick Pope here for Newcastle. He would probably be higher up this list, at least in terms of the predicted points, with 22.7 over the first game weeks, and he would also probably be in more squads. He did come in as one of the premium choices this year at 5.5 million, 157 points last year, but that opening schedule is absolutely brutal. Villa at home. I'm a pretty big Ollie Watkins fan this year, so I'll be hoping he scores in that opening game week. Then Man City on the road. Liverpool come to St. James's Park. Then you've got Brighton, who were a top 10 team in Europe last year after De Zerbi took over in expected goals. Newcastle then host Brentford and Sheffield United. So after that kind of gauntlet of the first 4 games, Newcastle's fixtures do turn. If you're in the market for an early wild card and you're thinking so far in the Fantasy Premier League season that's about to come up, Pope could be your guy when you activate that chip. But once again, 5.5 million, that is pretty pricey for a goalkeeper, and those do not tend to give you value for money. Next up here is Alisson for Liverpool. He is my favorite 5.5 goalkeeper for now in the preseason, but he is also an enemy of how good his team is. With you can only have 3 guys from each team, and are we going to spend a Liverpool slot on Alisson? Because eventually those fixtures are going to turn. A lot of people put off by the opening few games here, but if you want to be different, if you're just a premium goalkeeper kind of guy, I would prefer Alisson out of him, Nick Pope, and Ederson. Chelsea game week 1. Do we know how good Chelsea's going to be? They've looked good in preseason, but that's preseason. Then they've got Bournemouth at home, which was 9-0 last year, so you got to remember that. Newcastle on the road. That'll be a tough fixture, but Newcastle not super firepower heavy, and Liverpool won that fixture last year. Then they have Villa at Anfield. I would be scared about that game. That's honestly one of the games that scares me the most on this fixture right here. And then they've got Wolves and West Ham. So the back end of that first 6 game weeks is a lot more kind than the beginning, but it depends what you're feeling. If you don't think Chelsea are going to come out the gates flying, then sure, let's go with Alisson. But like I said, using one of those 3 crucial Liverpool slots on a goalkeeper may not be the best long-term planning for your fantasy Premier League. He is kind of a set and forget it keeper. I mean, he ended up with 162 points last season, 2nd highest scoring keeper in the game. But still, those Liverpool spots are going to become crucial once those fixtures turn in game week 8 or 9. So maybe we don't want to. Personally, as a FPL manager, I kind of just like to get a keeper and not think about it. There are so many decisions to make in FPL. I think actually it's one of the FPL general's tips. Just limit the decisions. Don't rotating keepers. You're going to leave points on your bench every week. You're going to be kicking yourself. Like the guys that had Ederson and Kepa last year, I think they ended up on the wrong side of it every week, and it was driving them crazy, at least from the content creators that I was following. But I think this next guy is going to be the most popular keeper by the end of the preseason here. Once game week 1 locks, I do think that Onana is going to be the most popular player in the game. He comes in at number 2. Little bit of finagling here. I just took David De Gea's points and plugged them in for Onana this year. I know that's not the best way to go about this, but it did just work for the exercise. I wasn't going to give him 0, but It's not the Premier League. He's going to fit Erik ten Hag's system a lot better in terms of bonus points. He's been playing the ball out with his feet. You could already see it in some of these preseason friendlies. Sweeper keeper. There are some concerns, I think, on the FML, FPL podcast and above average FPL. They were talking about how Onana is a perfect system keeper for Ten Hag, but that will also mean that United will press a lot more, and it could open them up to holes in the back, which may limit his clean sheets, because United led the league last year with 17 clean sheets. David De Gea won the Gold Glove. Onana's already in 17.5% of our teams right now. He's in my draft right now. 23 points, 23.1 expected points over the first 6 game weeks. And a lot of it is going to come from 3 of these fixtures here. Wolves at home to open the season, Nottingham Forest in game week 3, and Burnley on the road in game week 6. Those are mighty nice fixtures. We're not sure how Tottenham's going to do. It sounds like they're going to be super attacking, but you never know with a new manager. Are they going to have Harry Kane? Bayern Munich representatives are in London today, I believe, to discuss the fee. I think I just got an alert on my phone saying they are $26 million apart. So hopefully they can close that gap, because that would be nice for Onana's managers to begin the year. But yeah, coming in as the number 2 keeper on the power rankings today. That Brighton game will be tough. They scored 2 at Old Trafford in the year last season, and that Arsenal game. That'll be a miracle if they only come away conceding 1 goal in that. But right now, Onana is my keeper. He's already in 17.5% of teams, despite only being in the game for about a week and a half. I expect that number to rise, and I do expect him to pass the number 1 keeper in the power rankings, Aaron Ramsdale. Number 1 keeper, 143 points last year. He's in 23% of teams. I guess the highest owned keeper right now is Areola, 30% as the backup keeper for West Ham, but he's not in the top 10. So that's why I did not say that he was the top owned keeper. 24.1 points for the first 6 game weeks for Aaron Ramsdale. And once again, just look at the fixtures and you can understand why. Nottingham Forest at home, Crystal Palace on the road, Fulham, Man United will be tough, Everton on the road, Tottenham at home. We want to talk about how easy Ederson's fixtures are, but Arsenal having 3 of their first 4 at home. One is against Man United, but that other one against Crystal Palace. Yeah, Ramsdale could open the season just burning up the points, and 24 points is a great indicator that Fantasy Football Scout thinks he's going to do well. He's only 0.9 behind Ederson. I do like Ederson's fixtures better. Ramsdale also has the added bonus of being 5 million, just like Onana was. I don't think I mentioned his price, but yeah, Ramsdale and Onana are cheaper than Ederson, Pope, and Alisson this season. So you can save 0.5 million, shove that in the midfield, up front, wherever you want to put it. But definitely in my thoughts, but he's kind of like Alisson here, where those Arsenal spots are so precious. Do we really want to dedicate one of them to a goalkeeper when we can be getting Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel, Zinchenko? If you want to be really different, Ben White, Gabriel Jesus is one of the most popular forwards right now in the game. Kai Havertz, Trossard. There are so many options at Arsenal. It's just difficult to justify spending one of them on a goalkeeper who ceiling is on average 6 points, floor is 1, maybe 0 if they concede. So whereas Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka, they should be getting, out of the 3 of them, there should be at least 1 or 2 returns from there a game. So that's probably why Aaron Ramsdale will not end up in my game week 1 squad. But just to summarize the top 10 here, Jamie Pickford, obviously quite popular in the FPL community, but I highlighted the leaders in these stats here. So Ederson leads with 25 points predicted over the first 6 game weeks. Aaron Ramsdale has the highest team selected ratio at 23% of our squads, and David Raya, 166 points last year. But yeah, Ramsdale, Onana, Alisson, Pope, Ederson, Pickford, David Raya, Martinez, Leno, Kepa. Those are your top 10 goalkeepers in the Backup Fantasy Sports Goalkeeper Power Rankings for the 2022, 2023, 2024 season of this great game. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode. One of 4 videos coming out this week. I'll be releasing the defenders tomorrow, midfielders Wednesday or Thursday, depending on time, and then forwards will come out on Friday, along with the forwards preview on rotoballer.com that we're doing. So definitely fun times ahead. Plenty of FPL content coming out of the Backup Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. I just wrapped up the first half of the Formula One fantasy season, so check those out. Be doing some other content there during the summer break. But yeah, less than 2 weeks until the Fantasy Premier League season kicks off for the 23-24 season. And I'm going to be going full steam ahead here. So today was Goalkeeper Power Rankings, and the next 3 positions will be coming up during the rest of the week. But yeah, once again, thanks for listening. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at YouInOrYouOut. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time.